Hey everyone, so I told you guys to comment down below any bugs you're having in the last few Sims 4 bug related videos that I've done, and you guys left me so many comments, so today we're going to be talking about them all, bringing more awareness to these bugs, and also it's helpful if maybe somebody watching has had the same bug and they have some sort of fix. So let's go ahead and get into the comments here. So this first one says, my male Sim can't work out because he's pregnant, but he isn't. His wife cannot get pregnant or take any pregnancy tests. Tired of this crap. Okay, so that is so weird. It's almost like it's thinking he's pregnant from an alien pregnancy, but that doesn't make any sort of sense. And then the wife can't get pregnant or take tests. So I find it weird that you can't take pregnancy tests. You know, things like that are supposed to be fixed now. So now that leads me to the question, are you guys still having pregnancy problems? And are you guys specifically still having problems with the pregnancy tests, not being able to take them? So this next one is about lighting. My entire lighting shakes and looks like shadows before the map itself starts glitching. It's been doing this since a little before Love Struck. And I also can't move my household from the map view. My entire save file ended up corrupting, so I lost so many families that all branched off from that base save file I created. So this is a whole bunch of issues in one, and the whole lighting and the map situation, doing this since Love Struck, that's a long time. I want to know if anyone else is having this problem. I did see a couple other problems about lighting shaking, and when it comes to that, it kind of makes the game feel unplayable because your lighting is just doing all sorts of things. I've also heard about the issue with not being able to move your households from the map view, and that hasn't been looked into, I don't believe. I don't know if EA has paid any attention to that specific glitch over on the forums, but it has not been talked about over on the EA direct communications or anything like that. And then the whole corrupted save files. So this has been a problem since For Rent, and there is a lot of people still experiencing this problem. This is probably the worst one out of everything. For Rent, I feel like ruined so many people's games, and now that pack came out quite a while ago. So I don't know, just the fact that they've continued to release DLC with that ongoing issue is definitely a problem, because I mean, some people, for example, they were really excited about the Enchanted for Nature pack, but they feel like they can't play with it because they're one of the players who have the For Rent corrupted save file bug. And then, you know, it's like, oh, this save file is just gonna get corrupted anyways if I play with the Enchanted by Nature pack. So it's just so silly to me. Before we go into the next bug, I do want to jump over to the Sims direct communications actually, because they did make a tweet the other day. However, it's nothing about bugs and glitches, which sucks. However, they did say here, Nature's Calling event extended until September 2nd. The Sims 4 Nature's Calling event has been extended to September 2nd for all players. This is to ensure players who experience console connectivity issues during the limited time event can continue to participate in quests and claim their rewards. We aim to release an update soon to address some of these connectivity issues on console. Okay, so this is a good thing, but I do wish they would talk about more updates for these bugs and glitches. I thought they would have tweeted something about that on Tuesday, but instead it was just about this. So here's hoping maybe tomorrow, since tomorrow is Thursday, maybe they'll go ahead and touch on some more things, and we'll hear when we're getting the next update for these bugs and glitches. So back to the next bug. This one says here, my Sim turned invisible except her teeth. Okay, first of all, that's terrifying. Oh my goodness. I feel like I've seen this before, like people making memes out of it, and it's just like floating teeth. So I have no idea if there's some sort of fix for that. If you don't have any CC, I have no idea what would be causing that. If you do have CC, definitely try to take it out and just see what happens. But as far as I'm aware, this has been a problem for some people for a while. So I don't even know if there's any sort of way to fix that. But if anyone does know, comment down below. This next one says here, my werewolves now have shoes on them and I can't take them off. Why does there keep being these random issues with werewolves? Honestly, I have no idea if I have issues with werewolves because I typically don't play with them. I'm a more like realistic player. However, I do think werewolves are one of the best occults. I really do enjoy that pack when I did play with it. But I did almost make my current household Sim a werewolf just because she gives off those vibes. But I decided against it because I didn't really want to go in that direction with gameplay. And I'm curious now if I did go ahead and do that, if I would have been experiencing all these problems with werewolves. So I guess it's a good thing that I didn't do that. This next one says here, I can't have babies via the surgery machine. I have been waiting for half an hour. Oh my goodness. So yeah, basic things like this shouldn't be breaking because it's just interfering. Like, you know, you go to the hospital to have have the baby and then you just can't. Which again, when there's issues like this with things that should be working and just like the basics of playing, you know, it makes you just want to take all these shortcuts and just go back to the, you know, giving birth by the bassinet. I even did that recently because I just didn't want to potentially have all these problems. So I just wanted the baby to be born. So I just clicked on the bassinet and just gave birth like that. And I was like, oh my goodness, I haven't done that in so long. I'll always go to the hospital, whether I'm using the childbirth mod or just get to work. So this next one says, I had a glitch where my sim glitched out of bounds and just kept running into the unknown. So this is a sort of bug that I would expect early access game to have, like literally a game that's like in alpha. So I don't know what the excuse is for that. I don't know why this would be happening almost 11 years in, but like usually I see those sort of bugs in games that are in early access. Like that actually did happen to me with Inzoi. My Zoe drove into the unknown and it was just like weird, this like half finished area. And you know, the game's in early access, so there's parts of it that are not complete yet, right? And so I don't know why this is happening in a game like The Sims 4 at this point. I would expect that when there's like playtesting for Project Renee, for example, because it's in early development, but The Sims 4 definitely shouldn't be having that problem. So this one says here, it's not just the ailments. I don't own the Enchanted by Nature pack, but I do own Get to Work. My Sims are always with a fever, like multiple times a day. So I've actually noticed my Sims getting sick more too with Get to Work. And then that on top of the ailments is chaos. It's too much. And it's also really, really unrealistic. I mean, how often do people really get fevers? I mean, obviously there's situations where you may get a fever more than other people, but I'm saying like in general, that's very unrealistic for all your Sims to be getting multiple fevers a day. So I don't know why, just basically like the whole sickness system in the game is completely bugged in my opinion. Everything's happening too frequently. I think a big issue with The Sims 4 is they be doing too much. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know if it's because a lot of people say The Sims 4 feels lackluster, there's not enough going on, there's no depth. So then when they add a new feature, it's like they go full force with it and make it so extreme. That's not fixing the problem to me. That's just like causing frustration and causing things to happen repeatedly that just end up feeling excessive. And then not to mention you get bored of the feature really fast. Like it becomes something that's not like, oh my goodness, my sim has this, you know, because it's just happening over and over and over again. That is definitely something I've noticed in The Sims 4 over the years. A lot of things are just like up in your face and like a lot of pop-ups, and yeah, I feel like they do that instead of doing the in-depth gameplay. And then like, you know, it's like, oh yeah, there's tons of stuff going on in The Sims 4. You have this going on, then that going on, this pop-up over here, but it's stuff that just adds no depth and it's just like random things, you know what I mean? Kind of like the festivals where there's so many of them now, but there's not much to do there. They're very lackluster and there's just so many happening at all times. Like they're filling up your calendar, constantly getting pop-ups for another festival that you've done 101 times and it's the same every time and it's just bland. So yeah, I just think I've said this for a long time, but I always feel like they just need to work on more content that adds true depth and kind of push away from these little things that just don't do much for you. So this next comment says here, I can't even launch my game. I keep getting failed to launch game every time. Took out all my mods and even repaired and uninstalled and reinstalled the game, but it still happens. So this is an ongoing problem for like years. A lot of people can't launch their game and I don't know what the core problem for that is. I would love if, you know, you guys could leave down below your computer specs if you're somebody who can't launch your game. Because I mean, The Sims 4 is supposed to run on lower end PCs. I mean, I had a really, really old computer. It was actually my first ever gaming computer. It was like the first time I got a desktop. It wasn't long after I started doing YouTube. When I started, I was using a laptop and then I got my very first gaming desktop. And mind you, it was already a desktop that was getting a little old when I bought it because it was on clearance. And then I used it for years way back. And then I actually ended up giving it to my friend and she was able to play Sims on that for years and the graphics card just finally died. And that computer is like 10 plus years old. So that was running The Sims just fine. And like it didn't even have, like back when I bought it, it didn't even have like the newest graphics card and stuff. Like I said, it was on clearance. And so yeah, they were just trying to get rid of it. So it's just weird to me how people who likely, even if they don't have like a top of the line computer, I'm sure it's higher up there than my old gaming PC that literally just recently died and was running Sims just fine for all of these years. So yeah, I don't really get it. I feel like there's also just problems with the EA app. I really do miss Origin. I personally don't have many issues with the EA app now, but I used to. And then there's still so many people who are still having continuous problems with the EA app. And I don't know, that could be the root problem to why people's games don't launch. So this one says here, I have the bug of pausing game and still moves. I also have a bug when I want to save. Literally have the eternal save screen. Also have issues with traits changing. Okay, so I've been seeing the traits changing bug quite a bit. Honestly, I really thought that would only ever be an issue because of mods, because I've had that happen in the past, but it's because of mods. So if you don't have any mods, then it's just surprising to me how that kind of went from a mod issue to an actual in-game issue. The eternal save screen. I hate that. I'm so sorry. Especially if you've played for like hours and then you try to save and you have no choice but to just force close down the game. So this one's pretty interesting. After the update, my sim was labeled as a neighbor. I couldn't click on her and she wouldn't walk through doors because the game thought she wasn't my playable sim. Even had the word neighbor over her head. I did eventually fix this by traveling with her, but now my child sim, same household, won't eat, and the only thing fixing that is exiting out the game. All this doesn't compare to when I lost my witch gen back when Life and Death came out. Okay, that is wild. The whole comment is just crazy. I'm glad you were able to fix the whole neighbor thing by traveling, but regardless, that definitely shouldn't be happening. Don't know why that would even be happening in the first place. I don't know, it feels like so many features in The Sims 4 are basically just all twisting and turning and tying in a bunch of knots. Like picture a whole bunch of cables getting all tangled up. That's what it feels like in The Sims 4 right now. That's like the best way to put it. And as far as your child sim not eating, I really hope she doesn't end up dying because you can't feed her. That's also like so weird. I hope you're able to at least cheat up the hunger bar. So this one says here, one of my sims can't change their clothes. I don't have mods and the game assigned the same outfit in every category even though I picked clothes. Also my lights don't work and my sims all leave the lot if one sim travels. My dog was in the club with my sims. Okay, that is so odd. Actually, now that I think about it, the whole thing where all the sims come when you travel, I have had that problem. I think it's even in some of my videos, like from months and months and months ago. I don't have that issue currently, but I have had that issue. And the one where your sims can't change clothes, like basically all the outfits are just the same for every single one. Usually I see this happen if I, have another sim from the world like move into my household or something, or I'll just like go into a random save and then I'll just notice all their outfits are the same. Super weird and random. It seems like also a lot of people are just having issues with lights. Like so many people are saying their lights don't work. So this next one says, I keep making a new save file and it gets corrupted in a few minutes. I don't even have for rent on, so it's really upsetting. So they say here, I don't even have for rent on. So I think this player has for rent, but they've disabled it. That's what it sounds like anyways. I don't know though. I want to know, you guys, if you don't even have for rent, do you have the save file corruption glitch? Because at that point, it's basically like you're just gonna set the game aside and not touch it, because if you're getting your save files corrupted that often, you can't even play. Because for a lot of people, I hear it just happens sometimes. But for this player specifically, every single time they make a new save file, it gets corrupted in a few minutes. So this one says here, I'm not entirely sure, but I seriously think that if For Rent never released, we would at least not have the save corruption issues. I 100% agree. I had to just include this one, even though it's not talking about like a specific bug they're having, just kind of going off the save corruption again, like the previous comment. But yeah, I really do think if that pack never released, we would not be having this problem. And not to mention, For Rent was a pack that we technically did not need, because when I think about it now, like it's weird how your view on things changes after you're used to having a pack in your game. I want to make this very clear. A lot of people, including myself, get very excited for new packs because they just are dying for new content, okay? Because a lot of things in The Sims 4 can feel lackluster and they love this game. So whenever new content is announced, they're very excited. So that's me. And as you play with things and stuff like that, your opinion can change on a pack. You get used to having that content and then you can really sit with it. A pack that you may have enjoyed at first, you may find that you never touch anymore. That has happened to me time and time again. And it doesn't mean that it's a bad pack, but I feel like you kind of grasp what packs are really making a difference and what packs are causing you more problems than fun gameplay, or just kind of feel meh and invisible. So with For Rent, the longer I have that pack, I don't know. They really should have had apartments be like that from the get-go. It should have just been with City Living. And I know City Living came out like years and years and years ago. And yeah, For Rent has a lot of different stuff. Like you can own your own apartment. It has a whole new system. But I think sometimes when we initially feel like, oh yeah, For Rent is really different than City Living, totally cool that they split them up. I feel like initially when we feel like that, after a while, it's just like, wait, this could have easily been in one pack. Once you get used to having in your game and you really feel out how much content it gives, then all of a sudden you're like, hold on, in The Sims 3 days, this would have all been in one pack. So yeah, that happens to me time and time again with like multiple different packs. Now, don't get me wrong, there is some packs that have been split up that I feel like maybe it's a good thing, because there's certain things that, you know, they were able to flesh out more because they separated it. And a good example of that, at least to me, is Parenthood. I'm glad that Parenthood is separate from Growing Together, for example. Even though those themes go together and they could have put them together, Parenthood still to this day is my favorite game pack, and I just feel like they were able to do it the way they did it because it was a separate game pack. So there's definitely certain exceptions, but yeah, when it comes to City Living and For Rent, I feel like they could have just put them together. And, you know, given all the problems that For Rent has, I often find myself enjoying City Living more now and kind of like moving my Sims who live in a For Rent apartment back to the City Living apartments. Does anyone else find themselves doing that? So this next one says here, I keep having problems with the photos. They all just turn black no matter what I do. It keeps happening. I never play with mods. I asked on X if anyone else has the same problem because I've had it for years and they told me just fix it yourself. Why y'all complaining? Okay, so I think we need to be kinder, honestly, because this person was just genuinely, you know, asking if anyone else has this problem. They don't use any mods. They've had this issue for years. I'm sure they've tried repairing their game and everything, and they're just genuinely asking for some help if anyone else has had this. Now, this is actually the first time I've heard this, so I actually want you guys to comment down below letting me know if you have this picture glitch. And last but not least, we have this comment here. Since I updated my game, the Sims don't do anything. They just stand there with the Q action and that's it. I have tried multiple things to fix it, but nothing changes. So if you use mods, I'm sure you've already tried taking them out since you've tried multiple things. So I think a lot of people have this problem, but it's usually only for like a limited time, and then the sim will resume doing things. Like I definitely have issues where I tell my sim to do something, they're not moving, I speed up the time, and I gotta wait like a whole minute, and then they finally start doing what they're supposed to do. It's like they're taking forever to recognize it. So I am curious if any of you guys are having it where they just literally don't move at all and they're just stuck there the whole day. Something that used to work for that is just pressing the 3 dots in the corner where it brings up the menu to save your game, and then just closing that out, and then they would continue doing things. But I've noticed that's not always a fix nowadays. So you guys, that is all the comments I grabbed for today. There is tons more, so I can totally do another one. But as always, you can comment down below any issues you're having in your game, or you can also comment down below any issues that you were having but are now fixed. It can be anything and everything. You can comment bugs you've just recently started having, ones you've been having for years. And also remember to go ahead and post them on the forums to get more attention to them. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys are having an amazing day, and I'll see you all in my next one. Bye guys.
You're the rose in a garden, and it shows if I'm on